Hello, TimeKeeper users. I wanted to share an update that's coming up with the success factors release related to emergency overtime compensations. Success Factors offers a lot of great tools to the Data Tree Expert Company, including new mechanisms for automated time evaluation. Now we have the ability to specify certain activities under certain projects as being an emergency related activity and allow for overtime or double time compensation to the employee outside of the normal overtime validation rules for a typical situation. Let's take a look. Here I have a timesheet opened in TimeKeeper, and you'll notice a normal activity. If I go ahead and set this to be 8 hours of overtime, you'll notice the warning ribbon will come up telling me that I cannot approve this timesheet. It's because it knows I have not qualified for overtime as I've yet to work 40 hours. If I go ahead and ignore that, you'll notice my supervisor will be unable to approve the timesheet. Now we have this new mechanism for emergency related activities. Let's imagine a storm event has come in now, and I'm going to be logging hours as part of that response. You'll notice that when I choose the project that has had these activities set up, I am now given the option to choose a double time, overtime, or regular time activity. In this case, let's imagine that the contract specifies I can get compensated double time. Once I choose that double time, you'll notice that the double time block is locked in and I cannot change it. If I submit this particular activity to my timesheet, you will also notice that the assign overtime tools that I have on a normal activity are unavailable on this emergency activity. It is locked in. It needs to be recorded the way it is specified because I have chosen one of those emergency activities. You'll notice that there's no validation warning telling me that I have too much overtime, and I can go ahead and I can submit, and my approval button is available, so I can go ahead and approve it. I'm going to roll it back, and I will go ahead now and push this activity out through the rest of the week, perhaps only as far as Thursday. And then we can imagine that maybe Friday we resume to normal operations and I'm back to my routine work. You'll notice that I have 52 hours. If I go in here and I look at the hours breakdown, I can see that I have 16 normal billable hours and 36 emergency related hours. No ribbon warning me, I can go ahead and submit. Now, if I were to go ahead and make this an overtime activity, you'll notice that the ribbon will then reappear. It is because it knows I have not put in more than 40 hours of regular billable work, so I do not qualify for this particular overtime. The emergency activities are more or less just exemptions to the normal time valuation processes. Let's take a look at how this project is set up. Here I'm looking at the project for the major storm event, and you'll notice that there's various activities, some marked as regular time, overtime, and double time. In this case, I'm looking at regular time, and you'll notice that it is normal billable activity. The emergency activity is currently unchecked. However, if I switch to the overtime one, you'll notice that the emergency activity is checked, and then I've specified the special compensation rule I want to have applied for that particular activity. I can also take a look at the double time and see that as well. You may want to go ahead and get into practice of specifying an OT or DT or some sort of indicator to the user so whenever they're going to choose an activity, they know which one to choose. It'll also make it easier for the supervisor when reviewing the timesheet. If you come to on your timesheet and you go to approve the hours and you realize that the employee should have recorded this as overtime rather than double time, there is no way to change that designation. The only option is to edit the activity and choose a different activity that may be of a different type. So for example, in that case, if they should have been overtime, I will go ahead and switch it to overtime. I hope that you guys will be able to use this new set of features to solve some of the challenges we've had in the past few weeks of special compensation rules for our employees, which we could not process and approve due to limitations in the Davy Tree Experts time valuation system. SuccessFactors has provided us with a lot of great features. This is one that I was pretty excited to hear about. Thanks, everyone.